Hey, and welcome to The Short Stuff. I'm Josh, and there's Chuck, and Jerry's here sitting in for Dave. This is Short Stuff, and we're talking about the Magic 8 Ball. Probably know what that is.
We have one in our house, It's kind of one of those toys that I think most Gen Xers, and actually knowing how old it is, probably boomers bought for Gen Xers, and now Gen Xers are buying for their alphas and
Z's?
Zoomers, and I don't know where
Poor
millennials
got left out.
But this is the classic toy. I assume most people have seen this, but in other countries you may not know what we're talking about. But it is essentially looks like a billiards ball. It's about the size of maybe a grapefruit. And it's got a little flat side on, let's say, the bottom. And in that side, it's got a little clear window with some dark liquid. And floating in that liquid is a 20-sided die with a bunch of answers to yes or no questions, with the idea being that you ask it a question, you shake this thing up, and then you see what the answer tells you. Very simple.
That's it. And it is very simple, but it's like, I think that's the case with a lot of stuff that just becomes a part of pop culture.
Yes, totally.
There's not much to it, but just something about it comes together and makes everybody love it. And the Magic 8 Ball is no different. It's definitely one of the more successful toys to come out of the 20th century. And it dates back as far back as the 40s, as a matter of fact, or actually the early 50s. But the story begins further back than that, because there was a prototype that was created by a man named Albert Carter. And he was brothers-in-law with a guy named Abe Bookman. And both of them together helped found the company that would eventually go on to create Magic 8 Balls, basically based on Carter's idea that he got from his mom.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool story. So his mom was a self-proclaimed clairvoyant and very popular at the time in Cincinnati during the age of spiritualism, and used a spiritual writing or psychic writing device to communicate with the beyond, supposedly. And Carter was like, "Mom, you're the best. You're so cool." During World War II, he built a prototype of a toy sort of in honor of what she was doing, that he called at first the Psycho-Seer, SYCO-SEER, which was essentially what's inside of the Magic 8 Ball now. It was a tube divided in half, and each side has that dark liquid, and each side had a die, and you would turn it one side up or the other side up to see what it said.
Yeah. So there's the basis of the Magic 8 Ball right there, because that's essentially what a Magic 8 Ball is today.
Yeah.
So Carter went around and he's showing it to local stores in Cincinnati, and he hits upon one that's like, "I love these. I want a bunch of them. Not only do I want to sell them in my store, I want to start distributing these. Let's do it." And Carter had big time struggles with alcoholism, from what I've read. So he's like, "I have no idea how to make anything mass produced. I just have good ideas." So he turned to his brother, Abe Bookman, who was the kind of person who could get things done, and they formed a partnership. Bookman apparently had they were close, as brothers-in-law could be. I think Bookman kind of had almost like a caretaker heart for Carter. He said when he was sober, he was a genius.
Yeah.
He was always broke, but I bought every idea he ever had, and that gave him enough money to keep going. So when Carter turns to Bookman and says, "I've got this really good idea, but I have no idea how to fulfill any orders. Can you help me?" Like I said, they formed a partnership.
That's right. Carter got the patent, and they named it Psycho-Seer: the Miracle Home Fortune Teller. A few years later, they modified it a bit to say, basically made it smaller, it sounds like.
Yeah.
And then called it the Psycho-Slate: the Pocket Fortune Teller: we can't get it any smaller, everybody.
So don't ask.
And then in 1946, they formed a novelty company named Alabe Crafts, from Albert and Abe, their names. And very sadly, I imagine probably somewhat due to the life he was living, Carter died, and Abe was the sole owner of the company. And maybe that's a good cliffhanger to see what happens next.
I think it's perfect.
All right, we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
So where we left off, Albert Carter died, sadly, and Abe Bookman was running the company, and he continued making novelties. And somewhere along the line, the Psycho-Seer caught the attention of the Brunswick Billiard Company out of Chicago. They make pool tables. They make bumper bowling balls. And in 1950, they went to Bookman and said, hey, this Psycho-Seer thing's awesome, but can you, like, make it into an 8-ball? And Bookman was like, you're talking about the billiard version of the 8-ball, right? And they were like, yes. We don't even know what you're talking about at this point. And so he said, I think I can do that. And he got busy taking essentially the Psycho-Seer and building a plastic 8-ball around it.
That's right. Pretty good idea. This time it just has the one die. You didn't need to have two sides because you just had the one window. Mm-hmm. I never knew it was 20-sided. When I read that, I was like, that's got to be a misprint. There's no more than 10 answers on that thing.
No.
But I'm wrong. There are 10 affirmative answers. And of course, if you've played it, you'll recognize these. If not, it says things like, it is certain or outlook good. Yeah. There are 5 negative answers ranging from outlook not so good to my sources say no and don't count on it.
Yeah.
And 5 non-committal answers like hazy, try again, ask again later. And the idea, everybody, is that you're having a slumber party and you're asking if this boy or this girl thinks you're cute or something. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's generally what it's used for. Like, people don't really consult it for like big life decisions. But if you're a kid, that's kind of what we were like, we were doing with it.
If you're on TV in a sitcom or a movie, then you might consult it for a big life decision. But yes,
yeah, sure.
I would guess the average person wouldn't do that, right?
No, you just want to find out if somebody's crushing on you.
So, and then after that, it's light as a feather, stiff as a board.
That's right, because your sources said no. So what else is there to do?
Brunswick customers love this stuff. I'm guessing these are like wholesalers, retailers of billiard tables, that kind of thing. And they're like, I love this. Thank you so much, Brunswick. I'll be a customer forever. And so Abe Bookman was like, I'm just going to start making these for the general public and sell them. And initially he said, you know what this is? It's a great paperweight. Yeah. And he sold them as a novelty paperweight for adults, which is a really niche item. And it was not necessarily the best business move.
Yeah, it's funny. I feel like there are a lot of stories like that where the thing that ended up being a huge hit, they initially were just so way off in what they thought people were going to like about it.
Right.
Yeah,
and that's a great example of it.
Yeah,
that
perfect.
New Coke.
Right. Yeah, New Coke for sure. And they quickly became part of pop culture once he realized that teens love these things. They started to buy them, and he said, "Oh, I missed on what everyone like. This is clearly a toy, and teens have slumber parties. And I want to know if people are crushing on them. So I'm going to make $1 million selling these things." And he did. He made many millions of bucks, I imagine.
Yeah, apparently they sell $1 million a year reliably. If you own the Magic 8-Ball rights, you can expect to sell $1 million of them a year every year.
That's awesome. Let's get those rights.
Yeah. So you said they're part of pop culture, and I mentioned that sometimes on movies and TV, people will consult them for big life decisions. That's called a MacGuffin. Yeah. That means that Magic 8-Ball is a MacGuffin, Chuck. I think you should explain it because you're the movie guy.
I don't even know how to best describe a MacGuffin. I mean, I think it's something that of low import in reality, but is has high import as far as what it means in the film. Is that about right?
Yeah, it moves the plot along.
Yeah, it's not a fake thing, but it's not like you actually found the plans or the treasure map. A treasure map wouldn't be a MacGuffin unless the treasure didn't end up being a treasure, and it's just what brought you to the place to meet the girl. Does that make sense?
No. You just channeled me.
No. I think I got it. If there's a treasure map,
right,
and it leads to the treasure, then that thing isn't a MacGuffin. It's a real deal, like plot piece or whatever.
Okay.
But if that treasure map leads you to Brazil, and there is no treasure at all, but what really happens in Brazil is X, Y, and Z. Okay. Then the treasure map would have been a MacGuffin.
But then does the stuff that happens in Brazil, the X, Y, and Z you referred to, is that what the movie's actually about?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's not like a boondoggle or anything like that.
See, now I don't even know what's a boondoggle.
A boondoggle would be if the treasure map led to Brazil and X, Y, and Z happening, but that was a detour where really the movie's about getting to the treasure.
Oh, okay. Well, are we talking about Romancing the Stone?
I think inevitably we just kind of fell into that.
That was Cartagena, though.
It was. It wasn't Brazil. Cartagena, Colombia.
Yeah, that movie really holds up, by the way.
I know. I saw it not too long ago. You told me you showed it to Ruby, and she liked it too, right?
Yeah, that's right. I talked about this. So fun.
So, yeah, that's a MacGuffin. And back to the magic
I guess
ball.
it is.
There's a really great use of it. I guess it would be a MacGuffin in The Simpsons from 1992. I think it's Bart's friend falls in love, where Bart and Milhouse are on the bus at the beginning, and they're asking the Magic 8-Ball how long they'll be friends. And after a series of questions, they find out that the Magic 8-Ball tells them their friendship will be over by the end of that day. And it turns out some new girl comes to school, captures Milhouse's heart, and Bart starts to get like jealous that Milhouse is distracted from him and their friendship because of some girl. And they end up getting in a fight, and Bart strikes Milhouse with the Magic 8-Ball later on in the treehouse.
I think I remember that one.
It's a great one.
Also, by the way, I know we could have looked up the definition of MacGuffin, but I think that was a little more fun. We've been getting some flack lately on not looking at pronunciations.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, a little bit here and there. I think some snarky guy on Instagram was bagging on you because of NVIDIA.
Really?
Apparently it's NVIDIA.
Yeah. Oh, and also we got taken to task for Tagalog.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
And also, like, when you spell something NV ... it's a little confusing. Sure, we could have looked it up, but I don't know. That's just not our style.
Yeah, plus I was confused. I thought we were talking about Nivea, the skincare brand.
Oh, see?
That sponsors the ball drop in Times Square. They're also a chip maker, I imagine.
That's actually Nvia. Is short stuff out?
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
All right.
Stuff You Should Know is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.